Isaiah, just please remind the new greeters that we're going to have the big meeting after the shift is over. Alright? Thank you. Didn't I just finish the call? Oh, of course, you're not Isaiah. Please, come on in. No. He's not in trouble, nor are the new greeters. Please, sit, relax. I'm guessing that because you're here, your shift is over? Fantastic. So that means once this coming shift, the one that's happening now, is done, then we'll all have our big meeting. Did you finish writing up those stratagems? Fantastic. No. Don't feel like you have to get them right now. We can swing by your private office on the way to the meeting grounds when the time comes. Oh, I'm sure one of us will remember. If anything, you get Isaiah or Gladriel to go get it. You're right. Neither of us like using the assistance of our fellow angel helpers. But that's what they're here for, and we pay them to do it. Yeah, I know it's such an odd term to use, even if it makes no sense. Anyway, how have you been? It has. It really has. An entire year since your promotion. And to think, 2 weeks before that, you came back and taught so many new things to all of the new greeters. And that particular wave of new souls that came in, it was incredible. I know you like to argue with me on it, but trust me when I say you deserved that promotion. You still do. You work hard. You greet everyone with so much grace and kindness and gentleness. It's not a wonder that a lot of people enjoy seeing your face. Stop. We're talking about you and your accomplishments. Oh, forgive me. It's been a long day and words have been stumbling over themselves quite often. No, nothing serious. Just a lot of talking. You know how it is. Yes, I did. It was, I think, the shift before you came in. The only downside with you having a higher position is now we can't hang out as much. I mean, we both work on the ground, but... Exactly. Oh well. I'm just glad we can talk now. For multiple reasons, actually. Oh, no. Don't worry about that. It has nothing to do with that. It's more something that has been puzzling. Do you want to take a look at this with me, real quick? It's just the numbers from the previous year. You can bring your chair over, too. I don't mind. Alright, so, if we're going to look at these 2 pages here, right? This one is last year's, or the last calendar year of the mortals. And this is over here, this one. This one's this year's. Up to present time, at least. Now, there are three lines that are very interesting to me, specifically. And I want you to guess what they are. One at a time, though. The blue line? Yes. Great. Yeah, that is the line that measures the general amount of souls that come in each year or each day, moment, month, what have you. It's gotten up significantly at this spot and this spot. And we don't fully know why. Oh, there was no giant war. There was no famines. Not in this region where the line is showing, at least. So it's curious. I mean, if you were to look at the overall map here with the world from last year's, sure, it's not the most insane incline of numbers, but it's still there. Hopefully, yeah. So, that's the thing, right? That's one. The second one is, take a guess. Correct? The green line. This is the line that measures all of the fresh spirits, the new ones, who come to our gates. As they do not cause any troubles, they do not have any combative behavior, and they are just willing to come in to heaven, some of which are excited to be in heaven. Exactly. And now, the final one that I want you to look at, and what's really intriguing me, is the white one. The silver white. Yeah, the one you can barely see. So that line, as you can see, says the blessing on it. I don't remember if I said much about what the blessing was. Have I? Only the basics. Okay. So, basically, or at least I guess in a little more depth, what the blessing is it's a, from what I know of, it's just a little more of an intensive form of welcoming more hesitant new spirits to heaven. I know that it takes a bit of time, and I personally consider it to be a form of therapy, a place where these new souls can learn to adjust in a more controlled environment so that they don't stress themselves out too much or potentially stress out other spirits here or other angels for that matter. Some consider it to be almost akin to therapy, I suppose. Or like going to a hospital for mental health back on Earth, where you're there for a little time, and then once you're fully cleared, you can come back to society. At least that's how I understand it. I've never been, but. Yeah, well. In theory, it is fantastic. There's something that's been sort of odd, and this is one of the reasons why I'm so glad you're here, and I hope you don't mind me spewing this nonsense, or what could be nonsense. So you see last year's, right? Yes. So last year's blessing chart line, it had a bit of an incline here, right about where we were having those problems. You remember that? Yeah, the first time Michael came down. Or well, not the first time. The first time since you came back from space between. Yeah, exactly. And I already lost train of my thought. Right, the blessing. So we had that incline, and then it dropped for a bit. But now with the now the sudden influx of people once more, it seems like the numbers are going up again. You see? I mean, it should be of no surprise that the more people come to our gates, the more disoriented and the more likely they'll have questions and be more combative, and it makes sense. But the strange thing, this is the strange thing. In these other years over here, the previous ones, the number of blessings, or the line, is still way shorter than it has ever been. I think this more recent spike is almost record breaking in how many people had to be checked in to go to receive the blessing. I wouldn't necessarily consider it bad, just odd, you know? I mean, I'm sure there's a reason for it. And I know for a fact it has nothing to do with you and the fact that you came back with a bunch of knowledge. Okay? You're out of the clear. In the clear? You're in the clear for this one. Something odd is just happening right now. And it also seems like the more influx we get of new souls, the higher the blessings come, or the more frequent people are sent to receive the blessing. I don't know, it feels kind of strange. Because again, if you look at all these previous notes here, the blessing was only used a few times in each year, at most 10 in the early 80s. Yes, I I feel like there's something odd about it. If that makes any sense. Mhm. So you think it's strange too? Oh, please, no. Don't think I'm trying to pinpoint any of this on you and the greeters, okay? I'm on the front lines with you guys, not as often lately, unfortunately, but I have been since you've been promoted. They are fantastic. You should be proud of them. You should be proud of everybody you mentor and teach. They're really good greeters. There's nothing that you've done wrong with them. We've always time to improve. But what I'm saying here is, despite all of that, there are still these instances, the massive influx of people receiving these blessings just keep going up. Like, typically, with this one right here from 3 months ago, right? Typically, the number of people receiving the blessing would be maybe at most in the high teens, right? 15, 16, up through 19 different souls, maybe. But on average, it would still be, you know, 8 or 9. Why is it last month, during that one wave after the natural disaster, why did we have almost 90% new souls? Exactly. It's weird, right? I've been looking at it, and it's not like, we'll get penalized for it or anything if we don't run on money, thankfully. Indeed it is. Money is the root of all evil. But still, something feels odd. Hey, there's another reason why I wanted to bring you here. Outside of just to catch up and count some numbers. I want to tell you this because I trust you. Of course. Why wouldn't I? Look. This is obviously weird. It's just strange how everything's been so sped up. It's almost as if the upper offices, it's almost as if they, well, would prefer that. Just rushing into blessings. Which, I mean, I suppose, but they'll run out of space eventually. You would be surprised. We may be in heaven, but we do like to have our architecture have actual finite ends. I know. If only pocket dimensions, right? Anyway, the reason why I'm saying this is because after tonight's meeting with all the new spirits, or the newcomers, the new greeters, I'm gonna go do some digging. Just simple, I'm not going to try and go super in depth. I don't feel like there really is anything wrong. But on the slightest of off chances that something is going on, I would like to know about it. So that's why I'm here to ask you also if you'd be willing to temporarily take my place here as head of the greeters. Only for a week at most. I just need to actually go and see what's going on up there and, understand why the numbers are so high. And try and understand ways in which we can lower the numbers of people going to receive the blessing. I'm sure the angels up there would love the rest. I'm glad you think so. But would you be okay here? I mean, you've been in an office-style work environment for over a year now. With the promotion, you have your own space. But I know being the head of any branch would be extremely nerve-wracking. I mean, like I said, it would only be a few days, a week at most, but something there just doesn't feel right. I want to find out why our numbers are so drastically high. Thank you. Now, listen. What I'm going to do is go on to the meeting with you, obviously. And there, I'll tell everyone that you are temporarily in my position. Okay? Good. Fantastic. And then, in a week's time, at most, as long as all goes well, I should have at least an idea of what's causing all the lethargy and other things, and be able to figure out what this is as well. Well, I really appreciate it. You're a true friend. Now, we have a little more time until we have our meeting, and we should probably still go and get your notes for the meeting soon, but until then, let's put aside those worries and tell me how you've been.